Right then, good afternoon, guys. Let's jump into some charts on Bitcoin. Just hit a little bit of volatility right now. Little bit of a wick on Bitcoin. So let's dive in straight away. Not too much movement as of yesterday's European session, but yeah, let's jump in and see what's going on. Hope everyone's had a great start to the week. Certainly, more volatility, all-time high party every day at the moment. But yeah, a little bit of volatility right now. Nothing to suggest straight reversal point straight away. What we're going to do is the usual shizzle. We're going to go through the OBD, see what's going on in the central exchanges here on Bitcoin. Then we're going to have a look at a few altcoins as well. But yeah, interesting. We've got a few levels to consider at the moment going on in the order books. So could be in for a really, really nice trading environment in the coming days, I do believe. It would be nice if we could get a little downwards flush again. Not sure if everyone caught this BTC Diamond here down at that 67k level. That was obviously just at the Sunday going into Monday Asian session open, but quite a nice one there if anyone did catch that. While I am going on and looking at Bitcoin for us all, we're going to have a look at open interest and funding as well. Just give us a shout in the chat if there's anything that we need to look at together, any alts I've missed. I've got a few alts that I do want to look at today with you guys, but just give us a shout if there's anything we need to look at together, anything I've missed. All right, so let's have a look at the OBD then as we move forward. So big wick here. I'm just interested to see what, so we wicked 73k there. I'm just interested to see what perps wicked. Normally a little bit higher, yeah, 73.2 there. Okay, gives a shout in the chat if the sound is okay. Cheers, guys. So just going back to Binance Spot at the minute, obviously still our biggest exchange we can look at the moment. We've eaten most of the supply, haven't we? We've eaten most of this supply here, which is to be expected, to be honest. It was kind of getting soaked up all the way through this push on this trend. And we mentioned last week that as soon as this supply goes, we're probably going to, cheers JK, yeah, we're probably going to get trend continuation. It's just a case of, my thinking always is, and you know, as you do trend, you know, when price is trending, it's very good for the spot portfolio, but sometimes, especially on a bigger asset like Bitcoin, not so much fun, and especially if you wanted to just hedge your position on your derivatives trading. Like I mentioned earlier on the video, I do prefer a range. I prefer that kind of 4 to 8 hour choppiness, auction the highs, auction the lows. It just makes for more interesting trading, unless you're scalping or you're a degenerate and you're up in the middle of the night and you catch stuff like this. But at the minute, we're kind of, not done a lot today, but we do have some good levels that I want to point out. Okay, so what we can initially see is the USDT levels on Binance are moving up to meet price. Really, really nice. You can see the faded in and out here as people are vying for position. None of these guys have obviously been filled yet. We are kind of probably like 5-10% away on some of these. So, you know, I do think that'd be nice to come and see those. Do we come down and meet this diamond again? Obviously remains to be seen. One thing to consider is as we've pushed up again, you can see the aggregated demand is just starting to fill up a little bit. So I certainly won't be afraid of any drop here. Reason being is if you go through spot, and we'll flick through the exchanges so we can see it on the overlays, but if you just look at the general ratios here, you could flush, you could have another 5 to 10% wick down, even more. You know, you could get an extended 24-hour, 48-hour flush down, and you've still got a lot of bid waiting lower. Bitfinex USD, old school exchange. A lot of the old school whales used to trade on here. Don't know if they do so much anymore. But interestingly, they're just sitting here. They've had a little bit of market makery kind of limit orders floating around up here. But these guys are ready lower. So nice to see that. USDT, very similar. They've got a 67k level there. It's kind of around that level. We got the BTC Diamond on Sunday night's open. So if you do come down there, I don't know. We'll have to see. We'll see as we go, won't we? Yeah. And again, looking at open interest, it is red hot. But I do think it'd be nice to come down and fill an auction off some bid. No real edge from Bitstamp. Absolute shocking at the minute, the way this chart's absolutely all over the place. And Coinbase Pro, a few levels which were vying for a bid here. I don't think these guys got filled either. I can't see any wicks in there. And again, they're just moving the levels up, so quite a static level here. This one at 75k. It's been there for quite a while now, so I fully expect this entity wants a fill at some point. When does that come? Don't know. They've got levels all the way down to that 65k zone as well. Okay, Kraken. Kraken tend to be on the right side of the market. If you just look on a higher time frame, Kraken do tend to be on the right side of the market more often than not. Kraken USD, again, wait for some bid, a little bit lower if we can get it. This could take time, obviously. Kraken USDT, also with those levels, and they seem to want to be capping off that 68, 69k, which is interesting because we're seeing that on a few exchanges now. So, you know, do we get another rotation, take some of these higher offers, go and fill your mate on Coinbase Pro and rotate down? Not sure if we do that immediately, especially after just seeing this wick. I'm always in favour of a little move down, especially if you're like me and you didn't get any action from the BTC Diamond. You kind of, you know, on the derivatives side, we're not obviously talking spot positions or anything, but, you know, lower time derivatives trades. It's always a bit of a shame when you kind of miss a bit of price action, then you see 24 hours of flat price action like this. So for me, it's always better just to sit on your hands a little bit and just see what happens here, or, you know, go and scalp a couple of your altcoins. But really, I do like seeing these levels from spot market waiting a little bit lower, because for me, let's go fill them, or they're going to have to just follow up like you've seen on Binance with these USDT levels just coming a little bit higher there, okay? Kraken, very similar again. They're trying to cap price there at that 73.2-ish level, 73.1 level. But again, actually not seen that. Sorry, Qcoin, not seen that from Qcoin in a long while. They do tend to have a really, really good chart. You can see here the kind of we got this back here with the lower bands, really nice levels in support. They're really good clean charts from Qcoin, and you had a little bit here. I don't know if don't think these guys got filled from previously, and those orders sat there. But this, I mean, look at the depth of the bands here now, 2.5 all the way to 25%. It's like your spot markets are really, really ready. A little bit lower. It's just timing wise, when do we go and meet that, you know? But yeah, certainly on the side of derivatives trades and the like, certainly would be willing just to sit out of this flat crab price action as we are right now, unless you just caught that little hedge position there, and just wait for a little bit lower. Don't get chopped up in this diddle in the middle price action. The OBC at the minute is probably a little bit all over the place, to be honest. Let me just go and have a look at Binance Spot. Yeah, and what I think is, I mentioned this in the video earlier as well, is I think I find personally myself more edge in the OBC when we're kind of ranging, you know, and I can kind of like see the bear divs. I can see what kind of order blocks we need to go and fill at the value area lows. Then we meet the value area highs at the top. I can see the order blocks, the wick space and the gap. When you're trending really, really hard and aggressively like we are now, yeah, you can certainly pull an edge on your OBC. You've probably gone and cleared some wick space from this recent just wick now. But yeah, I think you need that rotation down to then see what you've got lower down. It's a little bit messy at the minute, that's all. I would be more in this kind of environment, I'd certainly be more reliant, and you probably should be anyway, to be honest, just on your top levels getting filled or holding price with good bid on top of them, okay? But general depth here, not too bad, 360, 400 million. But what we do tend to be coming from nowadays in good depth is when we were really liquidated everyone here. This was like a 10k rotation down within a few hours. Basically 700 million depth at the bottom of that candle. So if you think about that now, if you do get any rotations down, if you do, we probably will do at some point, it's just when does it come? You want to be looking over 500 million to $1 billion on the aggregated depth, I would say, for really good depth of book, and then just apply all the usual data points to that. You know, have a look for a little bit of a funding reset, a little bit of an open interest reset. And if you're lucky enough, some bullish divs at the lows and bearish divs at the top on your volume as well. Okay, so let's go and have a look at volume. So volume, yeah, coming off a little bit here. To be expected, because what you're seeing from the order books as well is you've had a little bit of selling, and there's no particular really strong depth of book right here right now. So this is pretty natural to see your volume just tail off like this. Okay, we know, we've just looked at the OBD and we can see those resting limit orders ready lower. But unless those don't get filled, then you know these guys are going to have to just start chasing price up. So for me, as always, we're in a strong trending market like this. Let's go and fill those orders and review from there. If the price action continues to just float up from here, just because the market bid gets really dynamic and the market bid just starts to push price up, fine, just let it go. You know, really, it's just going to look better for your spot positions. What else can we see here? Basically, yeah, we might just dip into volume a little bit later, because I was getting some questions asked in the Discord just on the look back settings and the like, so we might just review that a little bit later, the volume by side. Just other things to note, yes, we know funding is quite high. We can tell that because your retail traders, so the 10k and under size orders, which you know you're not even seeing from the dynamic USDT bids and the spot books or anything, but your perpetuals retail traders, they're just really trying to long this back up, to be honest. And you can see that in the funding, although funding has come down slightly from yesterday's. Yeah, what did we hit there? Yeah, I thought so. Where's funding? I don't know where funding is on the side there, but I think we got like 0.09 or something on Bybit yesterday funding. And at the same time, open interest really high. So it's a very hot market up here. But I wouldn't expect anything less at all-time highs like this. The only thing I would say is I'm not particularly seeing a definitive close out all longs and go into a short position, because the supply is getting soaked up and we keep floating higher. So for any moves down, it's almost just as always, really. Unfortunately, it sounds a little bit boring, but it's just preparation for bid lower if we can get it. But yeah, open interest high, volume coming off a little bit, and let's have a look at the 1 hour volume. On the 1 hour, pretty just, yeah, nothing to see really. It's a little bit of a slow look back on this one. I've got that 70 look back on the volume here. Might need to review that, and what I was thinking about a review on that is changing it. I might change the look back on the volume, but I won't nerd out on that right now. I'll go into the Discord and the Telegram socials if I do change that. I might change my volume look back period as in the accumulation period, depending on if we are ranging or trending, because you're gonna get a slightly better result from this, I think, in a ranging market, or I certainly do. It's been very reliable over the last couple of years. Anyway, I won't bore everyone with that. Let's look at liquidity, because something else I want to point out on liquidity, just going to a higher time frame, which would be a 4 hour, is spot liquidity is very high. Very high at the minute. We're just touching that 1 billion, which we didn't even get in the ETF week. Okay, so perpetual's pretty chill, and I think we are just kind of ranging here on the perpetual side at that 1.5 billion. It's still pretty high if we're saying to ourselves 1.8 to 2 billion is our top parameter and that 1 billion is our lower parameter at the minute. but we're kind of chilling in the middle. The reason for that is I think there's been quite a few liquidations. Certainly since last week, there was a lot of liquidations, wasn't there, as we can see down here, which cleared a lot of open interest, cleared a lot of contracts out the books. So perpetuals is quite chill. I'm just wondering if at these high parameters, is it going to be spot driven now? And yeah, we'll see where we go. And not forgetting the ETF flows and everything as well. I know they're still pretty good. We'll have to go and have a look later on after this is finished and see what the ETF flows are running like today. But yeah, spot liquidity, very, very high. Certainly not. I mean, price can continue up. We all know that. More than your average trader can stay solvent. But very, very risk on. Here, let me just go to, I'll tell you what I'll do. Let me just go to my daily ratio and just have a general sweep. Look at the daily chart. I mean, that just looks unbelievable, doesn't it? Yeah, and it's a funny one, isn't it? Spot is looking great. Funding's high, open interest is high. So just chill out on the leverage button, to be honest. Look at your open interest here. Really, really high, probably at all-time. Yep, it's actually at all-time highs. I didn't even notice that earlier, actually. I think I was kind of aware, excuse the grey candles here, I was aware that it was getting rather hot. But yes, your open interest is at all-time highs. But we're in a very different market nowadays, aren't we? So yeah, remains to be seen. Does this become our I'm not going to say top, but we need to consider new parameters as we hit this market, don't we? So yeah, open interest high, funding rate sustainably high, keeps dipping a little bit, but we keep moving up. And depth of book is lacking a little bit. So you certainly, and it should be obvious to everyone's eyes, you're certainly in a risk-on environment, or a risky environment, should I say. And I wouldn't be going too hard on the leverage button up here, to be honest, even on altcoins, because funding has been sustainably high on altcoins. Okay, where do we want to go risk on? Let's just have a look at it. You want to go risk on when your open interest is low. It sounds really obvious when you're looking back at the comments tail as always, but you want to be going risk on when your open interest is low. Open interest is low here to negative. Absolutely no one in the order books. Everyone's just absolutely had enough of it, and it's easier to float price up. So open interest low, you want depth of book, and if you can squeeze it as well, it's kind of rare nowadays, and it will be rare on this market probably in the coming year or so. But if you can grab some neutral funding or some negative funding, all right? So just something to be aware of. High open interest, high funding, not too much depth of book, but that can come in quick. And just to repeat something I've said before, I don't think it's going to take a lot, like when we saw that 10k candle last week. I don't think it's going to take too much to shake out open interest up here, to be honest. But as always, as a greedy speculator, lower the better. For me, do we come and meet this diamond again? Because it was technically a weekend. Do we come and meet this diamond again for the people who missed out? Go and fill some orders lower and go from there. Let's go and have a look at Vitalik's coin. See what it's doing. See if there's any edge in Vitalik's coin. I don't think there is, to be honest. It's an absolute sack of shit. Yeah, it's going down. Okay, great. Yeah, you've got this top level up here. So you've had this, and I thought this was a nice hedge position last week, actually. I really, really did. I said this at the end of last week, I think. ETH and Sol. I think Sol's broken it. We'll go and look at Sol in a second. Sol has broken its top level now. But I thought ETH was a very, very nice hedge position short, even if you just intended to collect funding over the weekend on a 1 or 2x and then close your position out, you know, because this is absolutely solid. And on the bigger assets, you don't mess with this. I know that Bitcoin's breaking some of its supply now, but this is, you know, you risk reward if you can execute on this trade. So that was the 8th. So I think that was Friday, wasn't it? You know, if you just want to hedge your position and you trade large volume and you want to collect some funding over the weekend while you go and have beers with the lads, I thought ETH was a really, really nice one. It broke its supply as it did. Excuse me. It's that talk of beer with the lads, isn't it? So yeah, ETH broke its supply here, and it's just coming back down now a little bit. I'll just have a drink. Yeah, so ETH coming down a little bit now. It's just basically done similar to what Bitcoin did, didn't it? One thing to note is you've got no, like Bitcoin, we saw the USDT levels down here, waiting in the winds to bid back up. We're not particularly seeing much for ETH, really at all, are we? Certainly not on USDT. I mean, again, I'm kind of not even looking at the chart. I'm just looking at the ratios on the bottom right here, and I'm not really seeing any depth. It's like no one wants it. What's interesting is the BTC chart is a bit stagnant as well. It's got some slight bid there. What's Bitfinex doing? Bitfinex actually prepared to sell a little bit of ETH BTC, probably because it's underperforming. Does it get another shunt with the ETF narrative in the coming months? Probably. But yeah, Bitfinex doing a little bit selling on ETH, which is, oh, I didn't see that one earlier, which is interesting to see. I missed that. Don't know if any of you guys saw that one from USDT Bitfinex, but yeah, that's interesting. No edge from Bitstamp, I would say there on that one. Okay, yeah, perps are still waiting in the winds, a little bit lower. Double wick there from ETH, so that's I don't like to see that on perps. Excuse the grey Helkanashi candles, but I don't like to see that on perps. If you put in like trying to put in some highs, and then perps wicks a lot higher than spot. So yeah, I would like to see a rotation lower, no doubt. Yeah, interesting to see. What is the volume doing on ETH quickly while we're looking at it together? No particular edge there. We didn't actually get an ETH diamond there, did we? Tell me if I'm wrong. We didn't get a TRDR ETH diamond there. It just wicked up and went with Bitcoin. Good flush on the open interest on that wick, though, at the same time that Bitcoin did its thing. So that's good to see. You always want that nice nuke of open interest to then just wick price back up nicely. What is the Qcoin chart like? Okay, so that's really nice. Yeah, I think one of the guys pointed this out in the socials as well. And what you'll find is on a lot of altcoins as well, the order books are going to get a lot better now, and they are starting to just get a lot better as the market becomes more active, to be honest. But that is really nice. I do like the Qcoin books. I've not got any alerts set up for Ethereum actually on Qcoin. I might have to set some up, because that is absolute Gucci, isn't it? I think that's pretty much double band and a top level as well. Really, really nice, and you could have got a really good trade out of that. Really nice. Yeah, there was no edge on USDT particularly, was there? So there was bid on the USDT for ETH, but yeah, it didn't do a lot, did it? Interesting. Right, flick back to Bitcoin. Let's jump into some alts. Bitcoin chopping a little bit here. I think, again, like I said last week, if you're going to hedge your position, there's probably been some better altcoins if you're going to get any rotations down at the minute, I would say. Interesting one I saw earlier. BLZ. Guess who's back? Back again, if anybody remembers this one from back in January, I think. And I actually was watching this, I think it was end of December to January. And some guys filled some spot and then put this massive fat wall in here. Let me just go zoom out. What's the bid depth on that one? Is it been there a while? It must have been there a while. There. 336k, is that right? Okay, yeah, but last time we had this, it kind of, I don't know if anyone remembers, it kind of held for ages on BLZ, and it's a good risk reward, really, in theory, if you can execute down near this top level. But just acknowledge the fact that last time we saw this, it absolutely nuked through it. I think they pulled the wall conveniently a few minutes before price nuked across the market, but one to keep an eye on, certainly. What's BNB doing then? There's just a couple of others I want to look at. Oh, BNB's having a nice push up. Something of note, BNB altcoin diamond there, I think. Yep, top level pro, I think that one, altcoin diamond. I've just got the whole alerts overlay on here, so it's showing everything. I'll have to go look back at the log. But that's a nice one on BNB. Price at now $540. Okay, is it worth it? Are people still using BNB on the exchange? Looking strong, beast. Which one's looking strong, Zach? Yeah, BNB, that's interesting there. Nice move up here. What's the perpetuals looking at? Yeah, it's trending. Really nice if anyone got those executions on Sunday night, you jammy biscuits. Okay, another couple of coins I wanted to look at if we did get any kind of rotation lower, which is something I'm always aware of. Let me know if you've seen any shorts that you guys have got in. But yeah, a couple of good coins that are looking nice a little bit lower. Phil is one I'd be looking at. These guys filled some orders here, but this kind of static top level that's been here for a while, this guy down here hasn't obviously been filled. Filled on fill at this $10 mark. Little bit of a way off, but I'll be watching that. So I've got my alert set on that one. I think LTC is getting some real price action at the minute, and I'm not sure why. Do you guys still use LTC? Across exchanges, little bit of I won't jump into the high time frame classic T at the minute, can't be bothered. I'll look at it on some other more interesting coins, but a little bit of almost resistance to support flip again, and just getting a few LTC diamonds there. Now again, the LTC chart has looked really, yeah, BTC's looking just strong in general, it is, isn't it? Yeah. LTC lower time frame chart a couple of weeks ago was looking really good. It's obviously pushing up now with everything else. It's just interesting to see it's getting some pretty dynamic bid as we are now from perps and from spot. So that's one to watch. Although it's, you know, it's not considered one of these nice new race car coins like your Tiers, your Says, you know, even AVAX and Solar, I think are probably going to do well. Obviously, this run, it's certainly not a dog with hat or a Joe Burden or whatever you call it, but you know, coins like this are certainly going to have the time, aren't they? What else were we looking at? There's a few. This shows when I'm lazy and I just look in one section of the watch list. But yeah, I think Tia's catching some bid now. So maybe it's due another run after it's consolidated for a little while. Theta, a little bit of an old school coin Theta now, hitting some supply. But you know, you've got these resting limit orders just lower down with a little bit of bid. So that might be one to watch. A lot of these old school coins haven't really, I'll call Theta an old school coin. It's not as old as a lot, but you know, it's not, it's certainly not a dog with a beanie hat on, is it? But yeah, these coins are certainly going to have their time. So even if you're not in spot, just keep an eye on lower levels for your derivatives. You're certainly going to get those breakups at some point when they do kind of like 10-20% in one day. If you can catch those, it's going to be really good. Absolute New Year CZ pumped this over 100% coin. TRB order book starting to look really nice again. So it's had this big move up, which is a little bit scammy, really wicked 115 highs, and it's come back down now again. But I do like the way the order books are looking. You've kind of like capped price here. It's pumped through, taken all that liquidity, come back down, and it's just got these resting limit orders now a little bit lower down on quite big bid depth. It has to be said, it's building. So no particular edge right here, right now, but just want to watch if we do get any lower level fills, because it's absolutely smashed that supply. I've got no doubt when it comes and if it starts to just trend again, it's going to have less resistance here. Okay. Another old school one that I really used to love, used to hold this one, quite a chunk of this one back in 2018-19 going into the last bull run, is VeChain. VeChain's had a nice breakup recently. It's probably going to perform the same as Sol and AVAX and the like. Big breakup into consolidation type range. It's just hitting some supply now, but again, you've got these lower levels. Okay, so you've just got these lower levels if you are patient enough just to wait for it. Yeah, I don't trust LTC too much, to be honest. We can go and have a look at the higher time frame on LTC. I'm actually not too familiar with where it's at or what it's doing right now. But certainly when Bitcoin is, I mean, Bitcoin looks good, doesn't it? But when I'm looking at Bitcoin like this and it's at all-time highs, your funding's at highs, and your open interest is at all-time highs, and I would like, so this thing, I've got what I would like, and you get what the market gives you. I would like lower on Bitcoin, but like I mentioned to one of the guys in the chat on the Discord earlier, I'm not in a particular frame of mind, and I haven't been for a while, to just short these positions. A little scalpy hedge is fine. Coming down now, thank you, crypto gods. But I'm not, you know, certainly if you look at LTC like we did just then, I'm certainly not in a position to go, right, I'm going to long LTC because it's in bid, when I think the market may rotate lower. It's like getting cheaper prices, isn't it? Do you want to shop on Black Friday, or are you urgent to get in and buy a pair of Nike Air Jordans on Wednesday at full price? Do you wait a couple of days and you could get it cheaper? Going a bit off task with that comment, it don't make any sense whatsoever. But yeah, I would like overall a lot lower. I'm not inclined to buy highs at all, so let's see what we get here. There's certainly, just coming back to Bitcoin for a second, there's certainly no immediate bid from our central exchanges, is there? So yeah, bring it down. Give us another one of these, please, crypto gods. Another diamond, please, or something of the like. You might not get another diamond after that one. What kind of percentages are we looking at here? Quick maths. Who's a quick mathematician? Just pull the ruler. 6%. Yeah, 6% is nothing nowadays, is it? Especially at these highs. Really is nothing to come down and test some of this. Maybe we go even lower. That would be good. Thank you very much. Black Friday. Yeah, you know what I mean, though, don't you? And it's funny because people buy in here, which is fine. Like DK says from TRDR, you know, the boss at TRDR, you know, it's like, it's just a trade. So sometimes you just have to get in. But do you want to buy the all-time high on Bitcoin, on derivatives, and even at spot? No, thank you. You know, just can we just get it a little bit cheaper, please? So yeah, we'll see. But yeah, something indicative of that I don't like, and it's always worth looking at. So, you know, I'm on H&A candles here, so excuse that if you're new to the stream. I just hate normal candles. I don't like any candles, to be honest. I just prefer price action. I just look at the price here and what's happening in the ratios here, and H&A candles look better. Anyway, when you see a wick like this on spot, it's obviously not good. You know, I mean, we're moving down now, so it's easy to say that, but it's basically grabbing liquidity. And what I'm going to say is, when you see, and this is why I jumped to perps a minute ago when we started the stream, is when you see a wick like that, okay, so Eddie from TRDR probably had an OBC gap there or something, which created which gave you your wick space. But 73k on spot, when you go and wick $200, $300, $400 higher on perps to take more liquidity, it's never really a good sign, to be honest. Something to have in mind. You're putting a big wick on spot, go and have a look at the perpetuals and see what they're doing. If they're wicking a couple of hundred, even $400-$500 higher, it's not a good sign. It just means you could get cheaper prices. All right. So yeah, interesting. What was I looking at? I was looking at VeChain, wasn't I? Right. So let's go and have a look. We'll go and have a look at. Ooh, Linky Link is catching some bid, but it can be quite a weak mover. Not as a weak mover as in it does have these nice pumps, but what I mean by Link and some of those is, if the market's going lower, Link will probably come lower. You'll often see that some of these altcoins will just do their own thing, won't they? You saw that with Say a couple of months back. Market would go down and Say would just skyrocket up, wouldn't it? But I think Link tends to just move with the market a little bit, apart from when it front runs the market, as we've seen here. When was that? 10th. Yeah, so Link actually showing the way a little bit, to be honest, Link and Sol. So that's good to see. Maybe keep an eye on Link. Yeah, and it's a funny one because the reason I looked at LTC is years and years ago, in the old school days, pretty much even before we had any kind of derivatives in crypto, when we were just on spot, LTC kind of used to lead the way in direction. It was really, really odd. And I'm not sure if there's any old school players on. Give me a shout why, because I can't remember. I've discussed it with DK before, but I still can't remember. LTC kind of used to lead the way. And we've seen that recently as well, but it's probably not so relevant anymore. The market's really, really changed it. XRP stablecoin is moving, is it? Let's have a look. What's it doing? XRP. Fucking hell, yeah, it's one of the first I bought years and years and years ago. Yeah, I mean, they all moved well, didn't they, yesterday? Everything moved well yesterday. It really caught me off guard as well, because that is right in the European session when I normally say to you guys, European session shit, we don't have enough money to move the market, chill out and plan what you're going to do at the US session. I went for a run and came back, and the fucking market had launched 10%. Thank you very much. XRP, yeah, I mean, I'm sure it'll do okay. It kind of does, and you know, it's such an old school legacy coin, isn't it? It's lasted this long. It's got a good team behind it, so it doesn't matter what you think about it. It's probably going to last and do okay over the longer term. But what is its fair value? Fucking hell, I couldn't tell you. There's probably some XRP army guys that you could tell me a lot, but I used to be quite in on the coin. But yeah, not so sure anymore. LTC leading. Is it dropping now? Well, it's down 7% on the day, isn't it? Since the open. And yeah, people are bidding it, but it's still dropping. I thought it was a real mixed bag in the market today when I was first looking at things. I just thought it was an interesting... it's quite nice to see it when you're looking at your watch list, to be honest, and you've got some in the green, some in the red. It means you can really hedge your positions. But yeah, I think we've come a little bit lower here. I certainly do. It'd be nice. You know, you're going to lose a little bit of edge off your spot, but it just makes for better trading. And especially with that open interest the way it is. I don't care what anyone says. You can't sustain that for too long. It's ridiculous. So yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens in the next few minutes and stuff with Bitcoin. Classic TA levels, yeah, pullbacks down to 68, 67, I guess. Does the market really want this higher? In which case, it's not going to get too far. It's just going to get bid up. But yeah, if it's a true, good, nice technical drop, you want the lower the better. To be honest, I would say. Still holding XRP since 2016. Never sell it. It gives me luck. Oh no, Zach. That is a very 2016. Yeah, that is old school. So I take it you're not one of these that goes on the DEX screeners and puts a few shekels on Dog with Hat, Joe Burden, Pelfort, or any of these then. If you've been holding XRP since 2016, what price would you sell it at? What was the old meme? 5? What did they used to say? I remember the XRP guys on YouTube used to say XRP to 568 or something, and they had some real technical mathematical reason why it was going there in the next 2 years, and that was 2018. Didn't they win their court case a while back as well, and it still didn't do much? Yeah, funny one. There's a few assets like that I think are really, really good projects. It's just what, and they're probably going to, perform well over the next couple of years, aren't they? But what kind of fair value do they have? You know, and especially as, you know, we're all bullish on Bitcoin, obviously, and crypto in general, but especially when you think about the supply shock that Bitcoin's getting. And you know, the building narrative behind Bitcoin, the ETF success and all the rest of it, as long as those flows remain good, you know, if those flows start to die off a bit, you're probably going to get a little bit more of a turn in the market, aren't you? But yeah, what narrative we can't say the word fundamentals too much in crypto, but what narrative do certain old school assets have to continue in price appreciation, you know? Fucking hell. The XRP, you guys used to talk about it becoming a world reserve currency or something. And you know, positioning to take on all derivatives and stuff, which I'm sure there's probably some Link people would correct me, but I'm sure Link is positioned better for that, to be honest. I'm absolutely sure of it. AVAX holding well here. Oh god, bit wicky, but AVAX holding well. Maybe that's indicative of AVAX having it finishing its consolidation. Let's have a quick look at the 4 hour on AVAX. Yeah, let's just go and have a look at a few higher time frame charts then. Give me a shout if you guys need to look at anything. Need me to look at anything. Yeah, okay, 4 hour. Yeah, could be up for some continuation, couldn't it? AVAX. So this is the sort of thing I'd be looking for, even if the market really wicks down, is these assets like AVAX, Sol, Engine, that have been consolidating for a while after they've broke out and started trending. If you get any like Sol here, if you get any real nasty thrash down, that could be really good. What date was that one? The 5th. Oh, that was last week, right onto its trend, wasn't it? That was just before our live stream. Yeah, any kind of really nasty thrash down from Sol and AVAX, you could pick up some really good bids for some kind of like trend continuation. Just pull some classic tier levels and have a look at when the bid comes in on them. Yeah, really nice. Yeah, Engine was interesting because I saw some supply on it early. Let's go and have a look at Engine. Just want to see where that is on a higher time frame. Yep, so it's got some supply, but it looks like it's just gonna fucking, excuse my language, break up, doesn't it? Excuse the grey candles. I just do it for tidiness. Yeah, I mean, I certainly wouldn't long it. It hit some. It was hitting some supply up here at the highs. So maybe another rotation, or it's just going to crack. But that's certainly starting to look pretty good. Their Engine is. Interested to see how far Doge has pulled back as well, because I've just got the feeling after Doge's phenomenal rise from our lows that we were shilling for months and months on Doge back here. Phenomenal rise. Doge is probably going to do a similar thing to, again, we've said this before, haven't we? But don't jump into this too much. This could consolidate for quite a while, you know. It's similar to Sol, similar to AVAX, similar to Link. They all consolidated for a while. I think Link was weeks, if not a month or so, maybe a little bit longer consolidation. Sol's just done a similar thing. AVAX looks like it wants to push up, and Engine the same. So when you're looking at Doge and stuff like this, if you're in spot, it's certainly looking absolutely amazing. Not sure you come back to some of these range low levels again, but if you're looking at derivatives, just be aware of a bit of consolidation. Start to pull a range on these assets that have busted out. Same with VET as well. Start to pull a range and start to form a range on some of these assets, because maybe they're going to be here for a little while, and all you need to do is just sit tight a little bit in your spot. And if you're going to hedge and play derivatives, catch the lows, catch some of these wick areas, and then maybe you'll just catch one that gets a continuation and a break of these value area highs, and away you go, you know. Yeah, Link is, I've always liked Link. It is a good asset. I remember getting that. I think there was a couple of guys I knew ages ago got in at some really cheeky prices on Link. I think the best price I got on Link years ago was just under $2, I believe. Right, what's Bitcoin doing? Right, nice wick, and it's coming back up. But yeah, we'll see. I mean, we'll watch it for a little bit. When I look at price action like this, look where you are, and I'm on a 5-minute chart, but you're at the same price you pretty much were this time yesterday, you know. So you've wicked the highs, you've wicked the lows, and what you achieved, not a lot at the minute. Not a lot at the minute. You haven't achieved much, and you've still got no real bid depth from the central exchanges. So again, just to repeat like we did earlier, if the market wants to bid this up, great, just let it go. If you're short hedged from this wick high here, that's your current invalidation, but I'm not seeing a major reason to be short, to be honest. Extensively short. I think we are going to get continuation at some point. It's just I'm greedy and I would prefer a lot lower down. But yeah, we'll see. Nothing. Do you know what I mean? When you kind of like look at this flat price action, you're still in that kind of same zone, aren't you? So yeah, we'll see. Right. What did we need to go and check as well? We had a question earlier on volume. Basically, one of the guys was looking at the volume on a 5 and 15 minute. The difference is, yeah, we'll have a look at DOT, Zach. Yeah, we'll have a look. And just quickly on volume, what I was trying to say is, I do have a little bit of a slow look back on this. It has been good for a long period of time. I might just need to review it a little bit as we hit a really, really trending market. We can see that volume's coming off now. We're just on a 15 minute. So yeah, 15 minute candles. I've got a slow look back on this, a 70 accumulation length. So I'm looking at 70 15 minute candles. I might review that. We'll see. But yeah, I won't go into too much detail on that now, actually, but just wanted to point out that accumulation length on there. Let's have a look at DOT. If I do change that, as I say, I'll drop it in the socials. But I think a few of you guys anyway have got a pretty set on your volume. I think some of you guys have a tighter look back accumulation of like between 20 and 50, which I think is pretty good for day trading, to be honest. Right, let's have a look at DOT. So has DOT still got a really good team behind it and a good narrative to push? Yeah, I mean, it's a very nice chart. So the last alerts I had here, which you possibly would have got wicked out on, so that was Saturday, was it? The 6th? When was that? What date are we on? Anyway, Polkadot, diamond here, okay? Nice one. I don't think you would have got invalidated from that top level. It looks, I don't even have to measure that. You'd had a good 2.5% risk reward there. This one was okay, but bear in mind how far away that top level is there. So you're a good 3-4% away there, but you're coming into some depth. That was a good one. If you were day trading this, you probably could have got out around there for a nice 7%. Absolutely massive Gucci percentages. If you were holding that, this wick would have caught you out. Okay, that would have just stopped you out if you were hiding behind these top levels. Right now, it's looking similar to a few coins in the respect of, we'll go and look at a higher time frame because I think it looks pretty good on DOT. It's getting some spot bid here, and we can see that from the levels, but there's no particular edge right here, right now, I would say. Like always, it's a little bit wicky here. This is all kind of like Monday/weekend price action. Let's have a look. Okay, so that's an obvious area, isn't it? $10. Let's have a quick look at some classic tier then on a higher time frame and see where Polkadot is. I think I looked at it the other week and it's just absolutely trending hard, isn't it? Let's pull the old trend line out. Okay. Yeah, I mean, it's fucking hell. I mean, a lot of coins look like this. I'd love a big flush, and I know we had one there when Bitcoin did its 10k round trip Dartmoor candle. But I'd still love to go and fill some of this wick space, to be honest. It's just going to be safer for you guys to trade derivatives, to be honest. You know, I mean, right, just look at that. Fucking hell, I mean. Yeah, I'd like it lower. That $10 mark was just right down here, wasn't it? I mean, that's only a 4-hour chart as well. Let's go and have a look at a daily chart. It might make us feel a little bit more comfortable. No, does it fuck? Excuse my language. I mean, look, in general, the daily chart looks good, doesn't it? We can say that. We can say the daily chart looks really good because it's punching up, it's broke, it's lower highs, lower highs, lower highs, comes down, pushes up, breaks its lower highs, has a little bit of a back test of that area. Let's pull a range to there. Okay, so it comes back tests its POC. So here's your range highs of DOT, around that kind of $7 to $8 level. Really pinned prices, you're getting lower highs in price action. Then it starts to come up. It really fights that. I'll just zoom out a little bit. It really fights that value area high that traders are considering that to be a high price on DOT at that time. And then it kind of like comes back, starts to form its trend because you've really got no touches there at the minute. And then you start to get a few more touches here and form a trend. And then you're really, really breaking up. The best risk reward, I guess, would be a nice drop down to some of these levels. You could probably even just put that back up there, couldn't you? To some of those daily kind of wicks, like $8 or $9 mark, might be quite nice. If I just leave that there, go to a 4 hour again. Where does that bring us? Yeah. The trouble is the market's very strong at them, isn't it? You know, so do you get a drop of 15% on DOT to bring you down to some nice technical levels? I would like to hope so. But yeah, I mean, I'm never really reliant on fibs, you know, but you could bloody pull this from anywhere, couldn't you? But just roughly doing it. I mean, look, it's a massive drop, but this would be perfect, wouldn't it? To kind of like round off and keep going. Do we get that after a wick like that? The full market, let's bear in mind the full market got bid up after that wick last week. I'm on a 4 hour chart here. But if I wasn't positioned in DOT, I would kind of, I wouldn't be long in it here. I'd just leave it alone. I'm sure there's some other coins out there that look a little bit better, or have either taken time to come back to trend, or a kind of in this sort of position where they you know, I'm not into breakouts either, but they kind of want to do a flip. Okay, they'll kind of want to flip that resistance to support and then go, and that's going to be your risk reward as well. You know, never just trade the breakout, just wait for that confirmation. But yeah, it'd be nice if it just came down a little bit. DOT was the ETH killer, was it? I think Sol is now, isn't it? I mean, I don't delve into those kind of wars, to be honest. I couldn't give a flying fuck. The token could be called bread and butter for all I care. As long as the chart looks good, you know, we'll have a go on it. What's some other charts like? Everything's trending, isn't it? Everything's freaking up only. Egypt, that's a good one, yeah. It was actually ALGO. I think it started to move really, really well now. Let me go back to a daily chart. ALGO I do like a lot. Again, excuse the grey candles, but if you can see, that's kind of almost, I don't like this right shoulder here. I don't like that right shoulder, but we looked at it last week, didn't we? Was it last week? I can't remember now. No, I don't like that fixed range on there at all. But I don't like this right shoulder. But that's a daily time frame from the lows. You've almost got this inverse head and shoulders going on. Almost. Yeah, Sol, Engine, Metis. You know, I think the AVAX will get, you know, it's like all the Sol meme coins are going nuts at the minute, aren't they? Do we have an AVAX? The many meme coins on Sol that are going to go nuts at the minute, and you know, those kind of like environments are just going crazy, aren't they? Whereas poor ETH is just not doing anything. Vitalik needs to get one of them paparazzi shots with a hard on in his little tracksuit bottom pants again, doesn't he? And then it'll start, the price will start going up or something. Anyway, yeah, I like ALGO. I kind of like these coins. If you look at DOT's already running, ALGO, I think has still got. I think it's still quite a pretty good project, and I just love this sort of chart. So any kind of hold around here, you know, don't chase it. But ALGO's one that I do have in my alerts, And whenever I see it catching bid, I'm just aware that on a higher time frame, the daily chart, the 4-hour chart, is looking pretty good. So yeah, one to watch. What are some of those other? Yeah, again, stuff like Bake, still pretty low. There's still a lot out here. Bell. Again, I'm just picking randomly because I'm lazy. I'm just going down my watch list, but there's a lot of charts that are still looking really, really good. I think Dusk is already running. Not too good a chart there. I think DYDX as well, you know. Look, DYDX, I'm sure it's going to get some competition over the coming months in the next year or so as a decentralized exchange. But this is a fucking good chart. Excuse my language again. I don't think there's kids watching. I think I've turned it off, appropriate for kids. Look at this. Absolute mega range. Meme triangle breakout and backtest. If anyone watches this, and these are the high time, this is what you kind of need to be watching now, you know, and you kind of have to be, I've got OCD, so I just want to get rid of these blue lines and put white lines on. These are the charts you want. I might have to have a look in or ask a couple of lads in the social or tell me if you know if DYDX is still, you know, a valid, is it still going to be one of the top exchanges? Is it going to be one of the top exchanges in the next coming year? Because this looks mint balls, as we would say over here. Again, don't chase it, but it is having a little bit of a, again, one of them resistance support flips. Your ideal scenario would to be really get a deep cut, come down and go, but it's looking good already. Let's have a look at a 4-hour, then let's have a look at the bid. Let's go and have a look at the bid on DYDX. Yeah, so coming down, nice. Almost a little bit of a 4-hour trend going on. I'm not going to draw a trend line because these wicks here just look like they happen with the market. So here's our trend line. Here's our value area high. Not sure we come right down there. What kind of percentages are we talking? 30%. Yeah, I mean, that would be massive. But I would just, yeah, keep an eye on this one. It could be really, really good. Let's go and have a look at the bid. Pushing up a little bit already. What does the spot bid look like? So some guys have really filled bid around this $4 mark, $3.9 to $4 mark on spot, and it's actually had some really big depth there. So what kind of depth does it get to? Let's have a look. 6.5 to 7 million aggregated depth, which isn't to say a lot, to be honest, because I'm only looking at Binance and then a bit of Bybit perps. We have a little bit of Binance Bybit perps data there, but no edge. But yeah, I would keep an eye on DYDX because it's one of those daily charts that looks really, really good. I won't float through the rest of the charts on a daily. We won't go mega hunting now. But yeah, I do advise you still have a look at those daily charts. It didn't take 5 minutes, did it, just to have a look at DYDX daily there? I've not looked at it in a few days, actually. I didn't realise it was still hanging around down there. I do have alerts on this one. I know I was getting a few fire in the other day, but yeah, one to watch. Right, let's have a look at Bitcoin. Give us a shout if I need to have a look at anything, if I've missed anything. It looks, let me just refresh that quick. Yeah, we're still in the same position, aren't we? Nice wick either side. High open interest. I'm not touching. I mean, personally, I'm just not touching this yet. I would be fully happy to just let this do its thing. Goes higher, brilliant. Everyone's happy anyway. Timeline's happy. Comes lower, you're going to get cheaper alts and possibly a nice derivatives trade on Bitcoin, aren't you? Yeah, DYDX and a few of those coins. What's Atom doing at the minute then? I just like that on the altcoins, these order books are getting really, really good. Look at this on Atom. So one thing I would say is we don't obviously treat these green circles are altcoin diamonds. Okay, so these Diamond Pro, we don't treat these as, or I wouldn't advise you treat these as alerts. We're not alert traders. It's just a sign to have a look at the market and see what's going on, and then you make a decision as a trader on whether to execute on that data that you are seeing or not. One thing I would say is, when you're kind of seeing this on a Sunday, it can be really, really nice, but more often than not, your volume kick comes from the Asian Open, or like we've seen today on this pre and US Open, your volume kick comes around those times. So when you're seeing stuff like this so close to a crucial time in the market, more often than not, it's a little bit better to wait, and especially when you're seeing a top level like that. Okay, so you were getting bid here, and there was some depth of book on Atom here, and this is just pure example, but you'll see this on a lot of altcoins. When you're seeing depth like this, it's really, really good, and maybe you do get rewarded, and it just goes, well, then that's, like we said earlier, that's just a trade. If you get stopped out, you just have to eat it and then get in on the next one. But when you do see a top level lower waiting, okay, so this entity is kind of like almost waiting to get a bid, yeah, just keep an eye on those. All right, guys. Right, what else do we need to look at? Let's just go back then, and I just want to check Bitcoin while we're all on together. Again, I want to see if the exchanges are actually pushing this, and it doesn't look as if they are. And I believe the open interest, we've not wiped much open interest from those couple of wicks there, as price seems to be coming down a little bit. So open interest is high. Funding, what is our funding at the minute? I'm just going to go to these guys here for reference. Come down a little bit from what it was yesterday, like I say, but yeah, it's still pretty high. Volume coming down. What I would say is, I think I mentioned this last week, what I almost see as a volume reset is that open interest to come down as well. I'm not seeing that yet, so I'd be fully prepared to just sit on my hands here with the longs on Bitcoin. If it goes higher, great for your spot, but when you're talking about derivatives, do you really want to long an all-time high? Maybe you do. Then you can just show off on your Twitter timeline, can't you? But it's not for me. Yeah, so when your volume's coming down like this, and you see on where I did on spot here, what you want to see is almost you're not going to get those volume clusters that I've talked about before too much on the Volume King video, as you're doing like a range environment. As we're trending, you're not going to see that as much. But if you see the way the kind of volume resets over here, kind of comes down slightly, doesn't it? As your open interest comes down as well. Or this was a nice one in this zone. Okay, so your open interest comes down, volume's coming down. But as we are kind of sat here, volume's coming down slightly. Looks like retail are getting a little bit heated here. But your open interest is just sustaining at this high level, and it's been here since this time yesterday as well. So again, yeah, if it wants to float higher, so be it. That's all very nice for everyone's spot portfolios. But yeah, would prefer a little bit lower if we can get it. That'd be really, really great. All right, guys, look, drop a question now or forever hold your peace. Let's just have a quick look at what exchanges are doing, and then we'll close off the show. Yeah, spot, there's no, from our central exchanges here, there's no real bid depth, to be honest. Coinbase Pro have still got some selling. It's like your spot traders from your central exchanges are hanging around here. They're kind of chasing a little bit, as we've seen orders push up a little bit. You see USDT limit orders, resting limit orders push up a little bit here. But no one's almost fully prepared to just dive in here and just block it off here at this 70k level and say that's it. So your spot traders on your central exchanges want a little bit lower if they can get it. If they don't get it, they're just screwed. They're going to have to chase it up again, aren't they? So we'll see. Perpetuals looks nice, I still think. Lower bands following up, indicative of a trend. Back in 21 and 22, the last bull runs, perps looked like this for about 6 months. It was ridiculous. Even higher bands, it was just, when we had the weeks of just up only, the perps derivatives bands, despite high funding and stuff, the bands were just following price up all the way, absolutely all the time. And spot, like we've just seen now, had to get in when they could. We did get high open interest and high funding back then as well, obviously. and they just got resets from these flushes. So, you know, are we due another big flush right here, right now? Not so sure. Not so sure, to be honest. We'll just take it session by session, day by day. Last week's flush, 10k Darth Maul each way, was massive, to be honest, wasn't it? That shook a lot of people out the market. Do we get another one of those the next week? Probably not, to be honest. Yeah, we'll have to see. All right, guys. Any questions? No, all good from you guys. Great. Right, we'll be around in the socials. What I'm going to do is I'll drop the timestamps on here if you want to review it back and just have a little look at what we've looked at. If there's anything that we've seen today that is looking quite good, I'm going to keep an eye on DYDX. Got some alerts set on that one because I think that will still be good. Could take a little bit of time to play out. If we can get some lower bids on that, that'd be really, really nice. And yeah, drop on the link below if you are new. Get a free trial going on TRDR. Don't know how anyone trades without it, to be honest. Get on the link below. Give the stream a like if it's been useful, and give it a share as well, because I will timestamp it. All right, guys. Speak soon.